Yes.
Everybody! Hello and welcome to the Playground Experience. You see, here we have April Williams and myself, Kathy D. Hopefully, will come through later on and join us on the playground. We found a topic just talking about it, as the old folks say, chewing the fat, and we found out chewing out the energies. We were talking about anger. And interesting enough, April talked about how we can use our anger, our April. Yeah, can we use your April? How we can use our
I'm tired of being used. Ain't nobody using me no more.
how we can use our anger and use it in a way in which we can be able to manifest. And we were just talking about a situation I was saying with myself, where with the DM, I was kind of, I was angry, but I didn't show my anger at that. And I always talk about righteous anger, and I feel that where I am in the place right now, that is righteously so that I should be able to use that. But April talked about how she had watched something and saying that you can use that strong emotion to be able to manifest stuff. So can you talk about? I'm gonna try to get people and let them know we're live now too on
Okay,
this.
so first I'm going to go into a little bit of a spiel here, but
Okay, go.
um,
Please speak.
why the divine feminine or why feminine? Because if she's divine, you know, she typically is more in bliss than enraged, but there is an anger, there is divine rage, right? There's the Kali Ma, Set, I think. These were goddesses that were justified in being angry. They were protecting because there was so much people being hurt. Even the aspects of the Black Madonna, not the Dark Madonna, there's a brown skinned Madonna, but what I'm really getting into is this idea of the feminine needing to nurture and love, but then when what she loves and is nurturing is being abused and squandered, when she's giving energy after energy after energy to support and love and nourish, but she's reciprocating with nothing. People are taking advantage. And so this anger comes about. Now, every woman or every feminine energy that is ready and knows that union is imminent, especially in the twin flame journey, gets really upset that it's not here, right? Why do I feel it? Hey, Mimi, we love you. Why do we feel that love? Why do we feel that connection? But we don't have that connection, right? So all of us get this real irritating little something going, and that passion. I think her name is It's Baby J. Just released it, but how to turn pain into power. Now, most of us are used to doing this by default. We have our intense emotions, intense pain. We'll have our sorrow. We'll be crying. We'll be, weeping, doing our thing, releasing. But then we're not calling in with that same amount of emotion. We kind of just let whatever's going to come back in, come back in. But what we can do is catalog and use that with as much passion. Now, she has a process where she calls in and says exactly what she wants in real time, like I am, or I have, or this is my current situation, with as much passion and ferocity as she is angry, right? And then she allows that to like alchemize and gets it out of her body through other means, so you can like dance and do these different things. So I thought that was a really cool technique, because right now there is so much rage. Right now there is the whole Mars and Venus. Venus is about to go direct again. Mars, they're both meeting up in Capricorn, and that's like staunch, like how we, I think I'm saying, understanding this correctly, how what we're going to do, what we're not going to do, how we connect with the divine, how we connect with others. And so when things are not being just, when things aren't being taken care of properly, then anger starts to happen with the goat, right? The goat is the goat, it's got it all. But if you're not paying attention, or if you're not really getting that they're the goat, they're not going to waste their time. They're not going to put energy where it's not being reciprocated, right? So there's a lot of anger about the fact that you put so much energy out into doing all this. And that's the thing with the divine, with the stepping into the divine feminine nature, It's remembering that it's not always about do, do, do. There's a receive, there's a calling in. So we're pushing and pushing, thinking that's part of how we get what we want. But really, it's just about allowing and attracting. But how do you get through that? You have to use alchemy. And the rage and the pain and the anger can be used to give the fuel to the fire of that alchemy to bring in what you desire. So, what is it that you want to desire? What is it that you would like to call in?
I ass whooping. No, I'm playing.
In the line of Freaky Friday, a hearty spanking, sir.
Yeah, that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
That's what
how do I get
right.
spanked and enjoy it angrily?
That's
I'm getting
funny.
spanked. I'm enjoying myself. My Freaky Friday has turned into a freaky freaking week. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm making millions of dollars. On we're doing it on top of it. Why? Because it's
It's like
unnecessary and we need it
it's
for
like
the promo shot. We needed the B roll, so we got the B roll. Oh no, this again.
okay, in and out.
Oh,
That's what we're gonna
what
do.
happened? Did we get the B roll? Did I talk about the?
We went right up to one point before. No, it was just too much power, too much anger. They weren't ready for that.
I'm manifesting, man. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They weren't ready for that. That was just too much power on that. But to me, when I think about the anger, it's almost like I'm seeing like a real, like it's all the way down for like all the roots and this coming all the way up and it's woo, it's balling, it's balling, it's balling. It's like shoo, and you're just sending it. And I can see how the combustion of that anger and all that energy and the synergy that's involved in doing anger can manifest something in that moment. It's almost like the negative and the positive of it. Something that gives you pure joy or pure bliss you can manifest in that state. But you can also, in the opposite way, which is anger, can be able to, that other polar opposite of emotion, can be able to do that. That's why they say you gotta watch your word because sometimes you heard some people like, I just wish they just crumble up and die, and then the next minute they say so and so what's kind of, oh my God, I didn't really mean that. I was just saying some things, but that it actually happened. Oh Lord, so you have to think about that moment of that intensity of all of that energy and how we can be able to harness that. And that's what you're saying about Capricorn being uh okay, what you say? Capricorn being, let me go what's my cheat sheet, see what's going on with these energies. When we're talking about Capricorn, Capricorns are ambitious, and that's what we talk about. That feeling you talk about, we really wanted really to get it. We got that drive. Can be conservative, and that goes back to what you're saying again with the Capricorn energies. Hey, if you ain't giving it to me, and I'm exerting all this energy towards you, then hey, maybe I need to just push the brakes on and pump the brakes on this because I need to conserve my energy. I could be using that for something else. I could be using that for a project. I could be using that for myself, practicing self love if you are not giving out the energy. So there's a bit of a discipline. And I guess that's why I said today I was a little upset because I had already did my things where I was reading my self help book and talking about how getting myself aligned with the affirmation of the day, and my affirmation was I would not be triggered by the actions and the emotions of others. I would stay calm and centered. And lo and behold, something happened. It knocked me off my square, and I was back to square one. And I was upset with myself because I was like, you should not have did that. And I'm trying to work with, and now I'm trying to work with being compassionate, which is not going into that critical voice, but at the same time being compassionate about when I do let things get off my square, to do that. Because after a while I was getting upset with the new boss, and she's like, take a breather, and I said, oh my God, now she knows that I get easily triggered, and it's like, oh my God, and I'm correcting myself on that. So again, it's about the discipline, as well, methodical, being very, in a certain way, a procedural way of how you being able to do it, steps 1, 2, and 3. It's a method to things. And so in some ways, in that method, I'm hearing them saying there is security in that, during these moments here. So I know even with me, I've been adopting, things like, 3 things that is hitting, like whatever I do when I start the morning off, I am doing something. Oh, I changed my routine. I know that's one thing. I changed my routine to now being, I start doing things for me. I used to do things for my furry babies first, and then everything else at the house, making sure. And I said, you know what kind of subconscious, message you're giving yourself? Everybody comes first, and you come last. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm gonna flip it. I'm not doing that. So in the morning, I do just like the airplane, example that Kathy D and I use. Make sure I'm straight first. Make sure I've done my meditation. Make sure I've done my yoga practice. Make sure I've done my mental things and journaling. And then I go into the next thing, which is to, go and see and tend for my furry kids next. I seen that showing a much better, more centeredness, more grounded, and looking more at self. Preserving. That again, that goes with the thing what I said again about why you saying, earlier about the Capricorns,
Your phone is going
preserving your
off.
energies, preserving too, as preserving, as well, like making it sacred. Like I was telling myself, this is sacred. You come first. So I'm preserving that idea. And then they say political, um, realistic, responsible, rigid. That's what we do in that rigidity, which is again staying kind of on. But that jumps off with me. It's like again being so rigid that we want things to happen. Like with my OCD jumped out a certain way, but however, understanding that getting into the flow of stuff. I'm here to say not to be such a stick in the mud too as well. Serious, thrifty, seeks money. We were talking about that earlier about like what's happening with this. I want to have this program going, all this stuff, what's going on. So that's what we're in that energy. We're trying to look for prosperity and abundance and ways in which we can be able to keep on, being in the flow of abundance. Status and power. Now the shadow of it is alone. We talked about that earlier too before we got on here, saying about how some of the divine feminine energies are in the energies of, like I need somebody or I need somebody, I need to be coupled up. And I wouldn't say the divine feminine energies. Let's take that off the table because I told you we've been misusing. Do, 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 do. All right. Ooh.
It's so funny. This is crazy. I don't know what's going on, but I keep getting kicked off, y'all. This is
Yeah,
insanity.
yeah.
It's insanity.
And insanity. I don't know what that's all about.
So
Uh,
I'm angry. It's trying to irritate me. It's like, go ahead, use this
right,
fuel.
right,
Use it. I'm gonna tease you. I'm gonna tease you and make you so mad that you got to do something.
right. Yeah, yeah,
Let me
yeah.
refresh this button as angrily as.
They already know we gonna mess with you. We gonna mess with you. Yeah, yeah. Frustrated was it. Alone. We talked about that.
But I think
Literally
part
and
of it,
pessimistic.
but part of that, when we're talking about releasing and getting into anger, it's because but you should still wait. What? No, no, no. It's not because you can't get on. It's because it's the energies. We were just talking earlier before we even went live, and it just kept kicking me off. And we're
Right,
both super close to a modem or router.
right,
Either way, the internet, she live, but she lying. So I'm
right.
just wondering what's going on right now.
What are
Super,
you
super
doing?
frustrating. And we're talking about using anger and using that as fuel, or even anxiety, right? So anxiety and or fear, right? Because Mimi had said about the insomnia. The insomnia thing is real right now. Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
things where you just cannot sleep. and you just use that fuel to do whatever it is in your divine power. But for some people, they get stuck in the loophole of whatever that old paradigm is, of the self judgment, or the overthinking, or whatever it is that they are addicted to on a subconscious level. They're now having to actively clear it, which takes patience. But
Yes.
we got to get frustrated enough to want it to change, where we actually kind of have to actively do it, because we're running on subconscious systems most of the time. So in
Hmm.
order to change from some subconscious system, you have to be consciously aware that it even exists. Now, if
Right.
you're not even willing to look at your shadow side like that, why are we even, you're probably not here right now. We're probably not having this conversation, right? You're probably just like, this is too real. My frequency needs fluffy bunny commercials or something. Who knows? But stepping into our own power means taking acknowledgement of our emotions. Now, anger, there's nothing wrong with being angry. The hardest part about being angry as a Black woman myself is how many times I was told not to have an anger, not to have your attitude, the way you're talking,
Hmm.
your tone, check this, check that. You need to act like this, act like that, talk,
True.
look this way. And it's just so frustrating, because when I say something matter of factly, just as this is like, I like the color blue, it's not supposed to offend you when I say I like the color blue. But some people are like, oh, you said that so aggressively, or what are you hating on all the other colors for? And it's like, all I said was I like the color blue. We have learned to lie. We have learned to lie to ourselves. And that's
Hmm.
survival. Oh, they started up. Why do we get the bugs? Why do we get the nonsense?
Mm-mm-mm-mm. I
Okay,
don't know.
anyway.
That's been happening, and it's been even happening. Yeah, on other places like on Facebook, I do a thing, and they had the box was on there. It's like they blowing up my messenger. They got the box on your page. They got the box on your page. I'm like,
It's
okay,
it's a it's like so distracting,
right,
for no particular reason other
no
than
reason,
to help you realize that there's a lot of distraction agents out there. We
right.
think we have to hold in our emotions. We think we have to somehow pacify them and let them just let them fall away. But the emotions are the fuel, right? Emotions create the passion that creates the growth. And if we don't allow ourselves to even process these emotions, like if we go through, yes, I can control my emotions, yes, I can control myself, but does that actually let you have freedom if you don't allow yourself to feel the depths of those emotions? Like, we get stuck in these loops all the time, but we want to use our power, and if we don't let ourselves feel our power, even though it might not be the type of emotion that you're wanting to experience, if you don't let yourself feel it, how do you know how powerful you're going to be? And then, of
Mm-hmm.
course, we're talked about changing that energy. So you're letting yourself get to the pit of your rage, the pit of your anger, and then you're like, and now I have $1 million, right? I have $1 million with as much passion and as much energy, maybe even more energy, right? Because now you're going to call it in, right? Instead of calling in, because you're calling in, you're basically like, if we're frequency, right? We're energy. We're calling stuff out. We're bodies of water. So what happens with water? Water's attracted to. Whoa, she said she punched someone in the face. I was like, huh? I've been having crazy dreams
Oh
today.
yeah, yeah. I've done that. I've done that.
That probably was more than just a dream. That probably was some energetic stuff and shifting, and you just shakabuku'd someone, so they are now in a new state of world. You changed, you've enlightened them. Forever.
Yes.
Forever. Like, subscribe, share, comment. I don't know what's going on, but that's how we get more views, and that's how we get more people.
I'm gonna leave it rolling
Um,
down at the bottom.
Great idea. Technically, since we're on a team, you ready? She can add herself. You want us to add you? You ready, girl?
There you go. Yay! Look at that. That's magic, baby. That's magic.
Isn't she lovely? Ooh.
Yeah, I gave up on my computer, so I just had to go with my phone. So
I understand that. Say, where there's a will, there's a what? Wait.
yeah, there's a way, that's for sure.
So divine anger.
That's the way to go.
Divine anger and manifesting with strong emotions. And it's like, I have the best partner in the world. I am with my twin. I am doing these things. And as much, because I can remember, I get not all the times, but like a handful of times where I was so steeped in emotion that I went the other way with it. Right? You
Mm-hmm.
fall into the self-pity spiral or the whole or the self-judgment, and then the numbing out never seemed to work anyway, right? It's like you lose time when you numb out from the emotion. And so, there's also no avoiding it because it comes up in different ways. And all of a sudden, Joe Schmo up the street thinks you don't like her, but it's simply because you blew up because you didn't want to express how you were angry at, I don't know, your dad for leaving you. Who knows? Or somebody
Mm-hmm.
telling a lie. Or, straight ghosting the abandonment, you calling it in. And it's frustrating because I hear so many DFs talking about all these times that they made all these mistakes, and then they go into the how it's all their fault or how it's all somebody else's fault and the victimization. And it's like, but where are you right now? Because right now, because it's interesting when somebody else is talking, right? You can always hear how they're manifesting. But when you're doing it, you never hear it at all. You're like, no, 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 I'm an angel. You see, this is not what happens. I call in nothing but love and light for myself all the time, except when I'm like weeping and angry and looking in the mirror, talking about, you dumb bitch. No, these are examples. I don't do that. I actively do the opposite because I am willing to and ready to reprogram myself and my subconscious. And I have to admit that I even went through trauma, right? Like you go through the first layer of healing and then you're like, wow, that was the worst dark night of my soul ever. And then you're like, oh wait, there's so many more layers to my rage. There's so much more primalness to the fears and stuff that are coming up, the abandonment issues and so on and so forth. But at least now with the tool of saying what you really want through that, because I think there's something about when you feel the pain, the opposite of what you want at
Mm-hmm.
that point,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not just to not be in pain, it's to be the opposite experience or something different anyway. So it's a good time to call in.
What was it that you said, Kathy D, when you get on, you were going to explain what happened about the rob, kill, steal?
No, it's you need to learn to lie, cheat, and steal. And in hypnotherapy, when people have phobias and things like that, that's what or even anger issues, people that want to quit smoking, the whole premise of it is, we're going to teach you how to lie, cheat, and steal. And then they look at you like you got six heads. But the whole thing is we're going to teach you to lie to your brain. We're going to teach you to cheat fear. And we're going to teach you to steal your joy back.
All right now.
Hmm.
And that's the thing, that's that, as April was talking about, changing those words, and it's so powerful. An example would be somebody that maybe is afraid of flying, and they're getting ready to get on the plane and they're having a fit and they're just about to flip out, and they just can't get on, they can't do it, why? Because it looks like a coffin and I can't get out. And you find out quickly that it's not their fear of flying, it's their fear of control.
Mm.
And all you have to do is get them to rethink it. This is going to be wonderful. This is, going to be like a ride at Disney. And we go through all these things and think of happy things. And then the next thing you know, as the plane takes off, well, gee, that wasn't so bad. And then, oh, well, we've gotten through the whole flight and it wasn't so bad. And as you do that, your brain, retakes that information. Oops. Trying to log in now, still to my computer. And it bypasses that subconscious. It gets into that subconscious and we know that either from visualization and all these different things that our brains don't know the difference between a good visualization and reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we can go in there and, lie, cheat, and steal to get our happiness. That's the way you do it, and that's the way you unearth it, and you bring it to be about. And that's where when we're in situations where you really just feel like you're not moving forward in your own work. There's so much of this we have to do on our own, but then there comes to be points where either the trauma's too difficult or we don't remember it. I mean, we can get natural amnesia to certain things that we don't want to remember.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when we have to step into the hypnotherapy and do the whole lie, cheat, and steal.
Yeah, because sometimes I've been reading in my book where and the therapist was talking about, we get to a point sometimes because of those traumas that happen, we disassociate so much that after a while, it starts to become a blank out with everything, the things that you do want to remember, you can't do because you've been so removing yourself from it that your brain is like, oh, okay, this is what we do, automatic, okay, remove her from that, remove her from the connection of the memory of what's going on with this, that, and so before you know it, everything turns to a blank canvas. When you do want to remember stuff, you can't because your brain is automatically like dismissing, like next, erase, erase, and you can't remember. And I was like, oh my God, when I read that, I said, that makes a lot of sense. That's why sometimes you might meet somebody, like, I know I should know their name, I can't remember, and she was saying that was because of the trauma and how you really made yourself disassociated and how it plays a part of you just erasing everything else, and that your memory is not really being able to really function at its high point because of how you have reset your mind to remember things. That's just
That's
one thing so I can understand. I'm sorry.
that's pretty tragic. I mean, it's not I guess it's kind of tragic. I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking about my story, right? I have a lot of trauma. I have a lot of trauma,
Okay.
and
Now
so
I'm back.
the disassociation and the lack of memories.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, they're like, "Do you remember all this stuff together?" And I'm like, "No, man. I was
No,
going through severe
I,
trauma. I was
you're right.
getting divorced. I was getting lied to. I was getting gaslit. I was doing all this stuff. I was in an abusive relationship. No, I was. I'm sorry. I don't. But I do. At least I left you with a good vibe, right? Because all these people love me, or they come in with all that welcoming. But I'm like, I can't tell you how disassociated I was for certain things. Other things I
Mhm,
remember clear as day, right? But
mhm.
large portions of my life, that's why I'm like, okay, let me just soak up and enjoy all of this now and remember, and like going into gratitude and just breathing in this moment and enjoying people, getting to know new people. Like
Yeah.
today I met some actual Caucasians, like from the Caucasus Mountains. And he's
Oh.
like, most people are not Caucasian. I don't know why they make it like white and Caucasian are the same thing. They're not. So it's very it's very interesting. Just like I was like, yeah, I have not met a real black person. Like there are people who are like, I am black, right, which is a generalized term, which I liken to people who have had their history erased, right? So the memory is black. But we started talking about this, me and this family, and they're like, but everybody's history is erased because it's all a story of not what happened, but what they want you to think happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a very interesting setup of, if we've been lied to for so long, no wonder everybody's inherently angry or inherently distrustworthy of everything if the foundation of their
Existing.
consciousness, yeah, existence is in friction with
Mm-hmm.
what's true to the core of humanity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you're
we're
justified.
I'm
well.
justified in right in my righteous anger that I want to express. Okay, yes.
Well, at school right now, we're working with a group of girls that have anger issues, and so much of it stems from a lot of it from being at home, being isolated with the pandemic, all this kind of stuff. They didn't get positive reinforcement. It was, so any attention they got, no matter how they had to get it. And now when they're back in, general population, they're squirrelier than all get out, because hear me is what we're seeing with these girls. And we're having to teach them that, they've got to break these generational bonds. because you can't use curse. They all get freaked out if you say that. But, they have to break these generational bonds and, show the kids and do the lie, cheating, and stealing with them and have them, what do you want? What do you want to be? How do you want this to be? Tell your story the way you want it and not start it with once upon a time. Right. Raise up from the ashes like the phoenix you are.
Mm.
And you know what tastes good on flames? Onions. I'm talking about, I was trying to come up with a segue. That was
What a
weak.
nice
That was
segue.
pretty.
It's a
That
little
was
bumpy, but yeah.
so weak. That was the weakest.
That's all right.
But I liked how she said it's like an onion. The more you peel away, the more you cry.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I
Mm.
was like, I really
Good.
like that. And there's a promise of a splendid dish. I love it because it's a food metaphor. You get me. You really get me. Because I'm something to be eaten. Back to Freaky Friday. Anyway. Anyway.
Oh,
Mm,
Lord, we back to
mm.
that. Yeah. So,
Chocolate and strawberries. Anyway, yeah, righteous anger, right? Can you talk, so can we do that again real quick? You lie to who?
You lie to your brain or your mind.
Done.
And
Easy.
actually, it's not, because if it was that easy, we wouldn't have any problems.
so would that,
Well, but I'm under the belief, I'm under the knowledge that we lie to ourselves first. So no matter what,
But this is a conscious lying, not the lying that we do now. So there's two different forms of the lying to ourselves. We subconsciously lie to ourselves, like, oh, I'm just like weight. That's a big one. And oh, I'm just big boned. I just like to eat. It's my metabolism. It just doesn't break things down. We have every excuse in the world. Ultimately, a lot of times why we eat like that is it's for comfort. It's
nice.
for control. It's to keep people away. Think about it. What is the one thing they show in society all the time? Be skinny, be healthy, be this, be that. And so if you see yourself and you buy into that, you put weight on almost as a barrier or bubble wrap to
That's what
keep
it's called.
people away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we're unconsciously lying to ourselves. When we're lying to ourselves kind of consciously is like, oh, these calories don't count, and knowing all good and well that all we're doing is putting another layer of that bubble wrap on. So when we are making, though, this very conscious choice that I am going to tell my brain that this is a good thing, instead of we have to like watch our words, just simple things like, oh, my job is killing me. If I have to stay in this house any longer, I'm going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to die. My job's not killing me. My job could be challenging, and I am not thrilled to be in this house, but it's a limited time that I have to spend in an uncomfortable situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because ultimately your body's going to then say, oh, well, if this job's killing you, we better get you out of it.
Yeah,
Or,
it will.
if you're going to die, if you stay there, well, let's just start bringing your health down because we don't see you moving anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to then consciously make that choice. So we're going to lie to our minds, and then we are going to cheat fear. We're not going to let fear have that power. And ultimately, anger, everything literally comes from a passion point. And your passion point can either be love and, things that we are really just fully encompass, and they can be things that we really just don't like, and you have a passionate distaste for something, but it all comes from that point. So we can either take it and make it a very negative passion, or we can take and give it to fear, or we can turn that fear around and turn it into this really positive. And that's kind of what you were talking about, April, about manifesting with that anger. You take that negative and you flip it into a positive, and you use that to manifest. That's when you're saying, I love this job, or something better. This is getting better. My living arrangement is getting better. It's not, I am stuck, and you start, and ultimately you're manifesting these things. And then the last thing is to steal. And so we're going to steal our joy back. We're going to bring back that positive. We're going to bring back our happiness. We're going to put our oxygen mask on first. We're going to love ourselves no matter what size, shape, form, what we've done, what we haven't done. That was yesterday. It's in the past. We can't change it. We can't do anything about that. First step is we've got to forgive ourselves. That gives us the biggest joy back.
Mm-hmm.
Then we start with, we continue on with this manifestation, that it's getting better. This is, or, instead of being, I'm scared to do it. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, I hate this. This is just horrible. I am so excited. I am so excited to try this. I
Mm-hmm.
am so excited to see what's going to happen. This is amazing. I am so excited. And when you start telling yourself the difference between I'm dreading it or I'm excited about it, and you have that, and even in your voice, if you say, I'm so excited, that's not going to do it. I mean, you really have to embody it. But
Mm-hmm.
when you do, your brain's like, ooh, we're excited. All right, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes through, and that it is so easy. And I tell my kids this all the time too. And, for those of you playing the at-home game, I teach high schoolers. So it's almost like the rush to the finish line with these kids because they're about out. They're not in college. Those of you that have been in college, you understand it's kind of an interesting situation. They're very concerned with your major, and you have a few professors that are concerned with you as a human being, but 9 times out of 10, they're worried about the survey at the end of the quarter. So you don't have that time to sit and talk with them. And so you've got to, do these little plugs with these kids and tell them, change your words, change the way you think. You've got to. And for those of us that are twin flames, we have got to. It is not a try to, it is we got to pull up them boots, the bootstraps, and let's get it going. Even, I and it's to that point where I've gotten to where the karmic, I thank her. I really do. I thank her. And this is not a mind thing, because once I got that positivity in me and I cleared those fears away, I could see, gee, thank you. Thank you so much. Because one, she kept him from wandering around and being with other people. Two, and we knew this. We knew these things were going to happen. What are they doing? They're finishing up their lessons. They're learning. And what are they learning? They're learning that they love us. So, so number two, thank you. And, like I said to other friends of mine, and, she kept him fed and not dead. 4 things I could thank her for. But it's all in that positivity. You have to see the good in it. And, and realize too that she's probably as miserable as, they are. So, you're trying to give her a leg up. What can I do to help you? Oh, take him off your hands? Not a problem. I got that.
Yeah.
And it goes, everything's like that. Exercising. I mean, you dread exercising. I'm going to hurt tomorrow. I don't want to do this. And I'm going to be sweaty. And, with COVID, I don't want to go and touch those machines. But I don't want to work out at home away. And, then I feel like I have to vacuum before I can do yoga. And, we have every excuse in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But when we say, oh, I love to work out, I love that muscle pain after a good workout because I know it was good and it was healing my body. It's working. This is fantastic. I can already feel it from the inside out. I'm glowing. I'm feeling better. Trust me, you'll beat yourself to the car. I mean, it'll be ridiculous to get to the gym, but that's the way we have to do it. And if you're one of those little gym rats and you love it, and I have that addiction. I love the gym. Then, if it's about washing dishes or folding clothes and, even things like that, just mundane stuff. But, folding clothes. Oh, wow. I get to fold all these clothes. It's a great opportunity to check these clothes. Are they all right? Do they need to be mended? Are they just worn out? Do we need to throw them out? How long has it been since I really wore that? Did I feel good in that outfit? Maybe I need to donate that to somebody who could use it. And
Mm-hmm.
instead of saying, here we go again, I got 2 baskets of laundry to fold. And, halfway through, you're doing the whole roll with it and toss.
Right.
And, but when you
You
start
been in
looking
my
at it,
house? No, sorry.
we fold full clothes together, I think. But that's the thing with this. We just really have to, and especially right now the actually coming in with the Aquarius moon and all of this. Is Aquarius moon
It should be because
the
we
new
moving in
moon?
Aquarius.
Yeah.
But
So
it's
with the new moon,
Capricorn. We moving in
um,
there.
yeah, we held on to it for a while, but this is going to be, the end of karmic lessons, and you can either let go of it, here, take it, thank you very much, um, or they're going to pull it out of your hands like a little screaming kid in Walmart in the toy aisle, you know. Um, so no, I want it. And so we have to be prepared for it. I think many of us that have been on this journey for any amount of time are ready for this change. We've gotten to the healing, we've been through it. It is not going to be as bad as everybody's saying. It's not going to be the most comfortable, but I don't think it's going to be as detrimental and soul wrenching, if we have done what we um, needed to do. And part of it is when you can start seeing things, and you can start watching your thought patterns almost like a movie and go, whoa, I don't want to do this, and you kind of almost freak yourself out because you don't want to manifest that again.
Right.
And then you're having to like talk to yourself, like double talk to yourself, and it's like, no, we're not doing that, we're not doing this, we're not, and it's like that little kid, I'm not touching you. And that's kind of, but if we're in that good place, we still might have that little kid, "I'm not touching you, I'm touching you, and I'm touching you," but ultimately they have to take a nap, and they're going to leave us alone, and we're going to get that of these karmic things being released that go back so many generations, so many lives, um that it's going to be such an eye opener, and both physical 3DI and 5D. And it's just really so many things online. We have so much coming in, upgrades and all of that stuff that's happening, and we just have to embrace it and be like, better than I do. Let's do it. And learn to follow. But I will also, I heard you guys talking about the bots following you on, Facebook and stuff. I have
Uh-huh.
had so many people want to, and this is very interesting, want to do a reading or want to do an energy clearing on me, or want me to do this, whose ancestors, and it always seems like I've looked back at when those things happened, and every time things were going really well with the DM, they would show up. And so this time, I didn't, I didn't pick up what they were putting down, and I just told them no, thank you, and I wished them well. And once I, blocked them and deleted them and got rid of them, I then said I send everything back that they tried to send to me to them with love and light.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Because I'm like,
And
what?
I think you were too
because I
nice.
started to see,
I think you were too
well,
nice on
you
that
know what
one.
I thought on that,
Divine rage.
yeah, it could have been, but I thought at that point, because the universe was nice enough to let me see that pattern and see that has actually what derailed us almost a year ago, that I needed to be like, okay, thank you. And I will handle this with grace and couth, and just send it back and let the universe deal with it. Because it can get them, and just
Yeah,
send it back, love and
they
light.
will. Once they, yeah, I've seen it on both ends. Once you get more connected, we shine more brighter. The light is more attracting to other people. And you got to watch it. That ego could kind of kick in where people are like, "Oh, you're attracted," and you're like, "Oh, okay," and one or the other can kind of get swept by the current of the attention that is being shown. That
Mhm.
too as well. So I definitely have seen that happen, and a lot of times that's where sometimes our counterparts kind of gets sort of like Calgon gets swept away with the comic situations or whoever a soulmate, a high functioning soulmate or whatever like that. And they kind of go that away because of the things that's attracting. So yeah, that does happen. That does happen. You have to stay firm, or it's the opposite. The more higher and closer you're getting to it, these negative things, these kind of find a way to you to kind of throw you off again, like I say, throw you off your square as you're maintaining and moving upward and forward and onward. They have a way of being able to snatch you down from that. So that is also another thing. I agree with that
Mhm.
as well, both ways, the
Well,
positive and negative too.
I'm gonna empower the conversation a little bit, and it'd be like, this is part
Okay,
of.
don't want to empower. It's
Did she freeze? Okay,
She
you and I
did.
are talking, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what's
Either
happening?
that or she's
And she,
blowing us a kiss. I don't know which.
well, that's definitely that's the face. Maybe that's so funny. I'm not even make that joke. I almost made a Freaky Friday face joke. I mean, we liked your face. That's all I was
Yes,
saying.
it was
I was
sweet
like,
of you to
somebody
blow us
wants to see
kisses.
it, because you got frozen. You were frozen.
I
Yeah.
was, I know.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And you were
Uh,
Uh,
frozen kind of like,
I was doing
the
that, y'all. Happy Valentine's Day. No.
Well, it's like, okay, so when our soul goes to incarnate into the physical body, it knows the entire story of our experience, as well as our ancestors, the family that it's going into, the past life, everything, all that. It's coming into a solidified construct, or a machinery. And it's not that this other person distracted, but we wanted to take our power back from something. So if you're looking at the, as within, so without paradigm, we're taking our power back from something. I mean, I think that's all I'm going to go into, because we're already having technical glitches. We don't need any shadow banning or anything like that.
and now she
So,
froze. Oh, good grief.
I mean, it was interesting because I saw what I wanted today on the beach. So many beautiful families, just in their own little space with their kids, just loving each other and connecting and being there with nature at the beach. And it was a really kid safe beach. And there wasn't too many people. It wasn't crowded. It was just really comfortable. And I was like, wow, okay, I'm really close to my manifestation, and I'm going to step into it. But I think there's something missing. And then after that, I was given the whole how to change pain into power. That's the name of the video by It's Baby J, which gave us some of that alchemy tip. But we each have our own alchemy. We each have our own passion, our own drive, our own creation, right? Our own way to create, our own way to receive love. And it's there's no fast and hard rules about doing this. We can just offer tools and suggestions for you to step into what it is that you really want. Because if you're having this conversation with us right now and you're watching this video now or in the future, you know that there's more that you want. I mean, there's going to kind of always be more that you want, even if that is another breath, even till your last breath, you're going to be wanting more. Just that bit until you're ready to expand into the everything, until you expand into the having everything. And the key is, for me, I didn't really push myself into having a kid, even though I really always wanted a child and a family, right? I didn't push myself into having a kid until I almost died. I actually kind of left my body, like I kind of did die, right? And I was like, great, that's the thing I want, right? So it's not that we all need to be pushed to the point of almost dying, but a lot of people are being pushed into these life or death scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
As a twin flame, as a person watching us, this group, you have the ability to empower yourself to step into what you want before you're pushed into a situation where you're forced to choose. Now, we're all going to ascend, right? But it's a matter of how easy do you want it to happen for you?
Mhm.
It's trusting yourself and stepping into that guidance. If you're having an emotion, don't run away from the emotion. Feel the emotion and let it alchemize. Take your power back from the situation that you're replaying because it's typically in the past or a fear of the future, right? And like Kathy G was saying, we got to rob, cheat, and steal. And, you know, another way of putting that, if you're having some discord with that, because some of us have dealt with straight up criminals who are like, okay, yeah, Ruff's still in cheat, but you know, just allowing yourself to be true to yourself, and it's
Mhm.
okay to like not know, because like people are so concerned with like I've got to find the origin of this or I've got to somehow break it down to the point where it makes so much sense that now it's gone. It's like no, no, no. You actually just let it feel and process like the waves on the ocean. No matter what, the mountain is going to break down into pieces of sand,
True.
right?
I find that.
So you can either have strong waves come and take you out, or like you need a tsunami to take that shit out, or you just allow with each pass, okay, what am I releasing now, what am I releasing now, and trusting that intuition and stepping into that power again. Now I'm being told to reclaim my power. What are some things I can do that? And be lo and behold, when you ask, so you shall receive. And
Hmm.
it's been this manifestation thing is like off the chain. And because the astrology's got it so everybody's a little bit irritated, you might as well take that irritation and create world peace with it, right? Allowing women to have their autonomy and their voice and being seen and being heard, allowing yourself to be seen and be heard. And it's not always we all don't need to be the president or the ruler of the whatever the next thing is, although some of us will be, but it's just being the ruler of ourselves. And I think, it's almost like I've had to give myself permission over and over and over again to feel things, over and over and over again to trust my intuition.
Hmm.
Stop being so apologetic for just being, because I realized that this is a trait that was passed down to me. This is a behavioral pattern that was passed down to me. So I have to now say, nope, I'm worthy of being seen. Nope, I'm doing this. And then the people who stand behind me and say, yes, you are, girl. Yes, woman. Yes, you do. I'm like, thank you for showing up for me,
Mhm.
you know? And let them be human too. Right? Because not everybody's perfect. Sometimes we're all up in our feelings. But you don't have to get swept up in your feelings just because somebody else is in their feelings. Right? Especially if they just need a sounding board, especially if they just need to be heard, or maybe they even need you to cut through their line of bullshit that they're telling themselves, cut through their lies that they're telling themselves. Sometimes, I mean, okay, so me and my sister straight up got into a fight because she was talking from a space that I totally knew that wasn't who she was. And I said to her, that doesn't make any sense. I think you're brilliant and amazing and all this other stuff that you're saying the opposite of. And I would let that go. And she got so mad because I said that to her. And I didn't understand that. And I'm wondering, like, at what point did where I became resistant to somebody loving on me? Right? Where did I push away love? Where don't I allow myself to receive? Because if this is the feedback I'm getting, when I'm being so genuinely open hearted and loving, then there's something else there with the lesson,
Makes sense.
because everything is just a reflection,
Right.
right? So now I'm like, okay, well, where am
Mhm.
I receiving love? Oh, baby wants to give me a hug, or oh, somebody um bought my coffee or whatever, like it's just allowing myself to receive more and more, allowing myself to feel more and more. And I've been allowing myself to get in my feels. I cry now. I didn't cry before. A few years ago, I was like, I would not let myself cry, but now I cry. I did some biblical level wailing the other day. Now, if only I had turned this pain into
Right. I
I
should
was trying.
know. I would
I
have
was
known.
I was trying, but it was more hilarious because I was doing mirror work, right? And I'm like weeping and like going into the sorrow part, and then I would try to turn it into something positive, but I was like, I feel good about myself. Like it was just so. I was like, I don't believe you. I'm pretty sure you're not going to get the Oscar.
Yes.
You know?
That's like two conflicting energies. It's like, no, we can't turn that into anything. No.
But had I kept up the momentum, had I kept
Mhm.
up that passion, the amount of sorrow, because sorrow is also a really good alchemizing energetics. Not that I'm saying everybody should feel
Mhm.
sorrowful, because please don't go. That was just too much, even.
Oh God, no.
But
People said for me to stay sorrowful.
no, no, no. You're
I
misunderstanding me.
ain't the
Darn
most
it, Mercury.
tears. That's why I manifested some more tears, depression. I
I'm
don't
gonna
like myself.
I'm gonna nurture the earth with my tears. She gonna grow some roses in this. But
Well,
but
and the
yes,
other side of that is too, though, then you find once you get to that point where you can do that sorrowful cry and just let it out, then the happy tears come. That joyful, that kind of like soul tingling moments of just where you're just so touched, and you get like, I had a student that left today to go to one of the schools that he's signing with, and he's going to play football for a college, and it's up in Ohio. Poor baby's going to freeze to death. But before he left to check out from school, I having first period, he came back to my class and he was like, all right, miss, I'm going to take you lots of pictures. And I'm like, I want to see this. I said, I got to make sure it's a safe campus for my boy. And he said, I am. And he said, thank you so much. Thank you for staying behind me. I'm like, you got it. And he walked out of that classroom, and I didn't care. I had a room full of 30 other teenagers. The tears just flowed. And they were like, why are you crying? I'm like, because I am so proud of him. I
Mhm.
am overflowing with the joy, because once we get to that point where we've done the sorrowful crying, we've, weeped, and um, we've done all of that, then that it really, it's almost like it cleanses our intuition to be able
It
to
does.
realize so much of this.
It does cleanse. It cleanses the soul.
Because I could tell
okay.
him, I was like, this is, I'm like, what's your major going to be? No, I haven't decided. I'm like, you need to look into this program when you're there. You need to. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I just see it. I don't know. I just see it. You've got to do this. He's like,
Mhm.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I will. So
Um.
come on.
So I'm just remembering, right? So for me, I'm gonna start a little fight right now. So for me, I am. I think that the twin flame energetics shift unless you know for a fact who your twin flame is. So it can shift from person to person based on your healing and based on where you are at your level for matching.
I've seen
Okay.
that with clients.
So
Mm-hmm.
when was I was crying, sorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was straight up arguing with God. Like I was pissed, which was interesting because I went back and forth between sorrow and anger. And I was like, you said this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen. And I met someone, and like they turned my world upside down. Um, but I thought that they were my twin for a very long time, but I wouldn't let myself receive the love. Right. So we're gonna go ahead and close out my whole thing right now. So that whole thing about not receiving love, having it come to you on a silver platter, you know, it was very interesting because I obviously wasn't ready to receive. And now that I think of it, am I ready to receive now? So all these 17s, because it's interesting. Before we came on, we were talking about the number 17 because 17 has been coming too, but mine's 717.
Mm.
So just that do over. It's not a full on do over, but it's an energetic shift And so now I have to go into how to receive, right? Like, God, you told me I was going to receive, and you didn't show me how I was supposed to receive or even accept abundance. What? Oh, you got your little zombie car? You gonna shoot it in the living room? My baby's so fussy. It's about that time. So he wants cuddles or it's gonna get whiny. He's sleepy and it's not even sunset. But yeah, I'm excited
So
because now
your
I have some
cuddles
tools.
too. Yeah. So okay. Well, this is kind of good point. We can stop and spend an hour, if you want to do that right there. So um, but what's happening? Anything to know? I can maybe speak for April. Remember to go over to Made for This Golden Life. Her I can't do several things at the same time. Can't do it. Because she is selling her books for 33.33. Make sure that you go over there and partake in it. It's about the Yoni. I want to say Yoni care book, self care, Yoni care, like self care book. If you want to know how you can be able to manifest the Yoni, clear out a lot of things that you are from ancestral clearing, those things, any kind of trauma that has happened this life and past life. Please go over and look. That is a living book. Is because it's continuously she's adding as we go along, and things that come to her. So you download it. It's a downloadable book. You get it right there, 33.33. You ain't got to wait for no shipping and all and handling. Right there and there, you'll get your book. And then as she feels she's inspired, they're going to add. She's going to add more chapters and things to that. So I really say help yourself to that because a lot of time what we're going through is a lot of clearing as well. And I've been instructing that they keep on telling me it's going to be 6 months. Some of us we got to be patient, and it's going to be 6 months for us. So right as we're doing this and we're going through this process, in order for us to be on the other end of it, these are some of the things that you could be partaking in as far as like Yoni self care. Okay, so that's hers.
Yes, there's also nutrition and
Nutrition. So,
mindset
okay.
and all kinds of. So it's kind of like the Holy Trinity, but within the feminine body. So how we do our minds, both conscious and subconscious. How we do our bodies, both physical and nutritional, and how we interact with spirit. And then the womb is like the kind of catalyst to kind of bring it all together.
Okay, I did well.
You did amazing. I was like, wow, this is nice. I'm gonna have to go ahead and sample this from this episode.
Who's she talking about? Oh, it's me. Oh, that's my stuff. All right, Kathy D, you up to bat? What's going on? What you got?
Oh, hello. Well, we're still like in the process of the rebranding
Okay.
of the
Oh,
company, and we are also um, kind of in the beginning stages of playing with the mission work that was meant for the divine masculine and myself. We
okay.
figured out what it is, and yeah, we're trying to figure out how to move forward with it. So that's going to have some different effects on the company as well.
All right now. All right. Okay. 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 All right then. And also with me, I got the love letters going on here for the month of February. I've already started. I already got some clients that want me to read for them. Please make sure that you allow me. I'm going to take on K Moon's thing. I started to put a week to 2 weeks because between the energies, I want to be in the right frame. Also being in the 3D in the matrix and doing with work. And sometimes your person don't want to talk. They say, can't talk. No. I was like, well, how am I going to explain to them if you don't feel like expressing yourself right now? So, give me 1 to 2 weeks to be able to tap in with all the different energies that are coming at it to play a role as to me being able to clearly get into it for you. So that's 1414. For that, go to divineunisols11.co to be able to do that. If you are interested in getting a past life regression session, too as well. I think that's down at the bottom. Hit me up at AshantiWellnessCenter.com or a MAT session where you go in. It's called a healing of the trauma that's attached to your body or to your emotions, and to get that stuff out through energy clearing. Make sure you hit me up at AshantiWellnessCenter.com too as well. So those are the two things that I am that I see. I just go by the flow of the trends. People want some past life. People want MAT sessions, getting rid of the trauma, and then also the divine masculine love letters, or just love letters from your divine counterpart in general. Period. All right. Okay, so that is it. Get us on out of here, Kathy D. And
Well,
keep
Sassy says to make sure that you get all the sand out of your shoes and get your own buckets and take those with you. And if you have any kibble, leave it behind, please. And clean up around you and leave it better than you found it. And wishing you your best life ever. See you real soon.
all right
Bye,
then.
Sassy. Tell them bye.
Yeah.
I want to say bye, but she asked a question. Mimi asked a
Oh, she did. I'm sorry.
Oh,
specific question to about
mm,
the book, right?
Okay.
So it's an ebook. Will it ever become a hard copy? Not till I'm done. But because
Right.
I'm a perfectionist, it might take like 10 years because I'm adding new chapters, like an acupuncture chapter, and I'm interviewing acupuncturists to make sure that I'm getting everything right. I've got a chiropractor. There's a lot more layers to the work that I did because I was able to clear my body of PCOS symptoms, which is like a uterine health issue. It helps people with fibroids and endometriosis as well. And I'm also creating a space where like transgendered and the whole
Oh,
LGBTQ
that's good.
community can start utilizing the steaming practices to heal trauma and stuff like that. And then there's going to be a whole male section of the book that's
Okay.
coming too on how to heal through steaming
Uh-huh.
and how to heal through feminine, energetic medicine and feminine care versus the harsh masculine, which is like they want to cut and dry and all that stuff. So will it be an ebook? Maybe, but not for a while.
Not for a
And
while.
it's much better for the environment to keep it. I don't know. That's mixed, right? Because tech is made out of some really gnarly
Right.
shit too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, well, but I will eventually have it. I will reread it so it's an audiobook in my own actual voice.
Oh,
So
that'd
that
be
might
neat.
be a nice section to it. Plus, it comes with like meditations and stuff to do with the womb. And for those of you who have been in any of the Divine Sunshine groups where um, Divine Sunshine me do some of the womb work, that stuff is like I'm really good at that. Like I'm like my all my spidey senses start tingling. But anyway, I don't know how many people periods I've started, but congratulations. Anyway, stay blessed,
Oh,
stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life.
all right then, people. As always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay sending namaste. Nama go. All right, till next time. See you on the playground. Peace.